Hey HTDA and welcome back to Dyson Sphere Program. The developers of Dyson Sphere Program have recently announced some good news and some bad news. The bad news, the combat update requires more work than expected to get it right, and it has been postponed for that reason until next year, rather than releasing it this year as it was originally planned. The good news, they had quite a bit of information to share about the combat system. I'll dive into that in this video, so make sure you watch until the end. Now, given the amount of comments I've seen on previous updates asking about this, let's start with one simple truth. If you do not want combat in your game, and I can imagine that some people do not want that at all, you can simply turn it off. This game is great without combat, so if you want to build your factory in peace, you can 100% still do that. If you do want combat, or if you're interested in trying it out with a little help, I suggest you subscribe to the channel so we can explore it together when it comes out. I will most definitely start a new, fresh playthrough as soon as the update releases, and as always, I will likely release the blueprints of everything I built along with that. Now, what do we know about the combat system? Based on the footage shown, the combat takes place not only in space but also on the planets itself. The enemy bots are shown to have spaceships and space structures, but also bases on the ground. We are also shown that we will be able to build static tower defenses, but if you look more closely you can also see a few other things that make it a little bit more exciting than just factorial style tower defense. We are shown force fields around entire planets, but also Icarus taking part of the fight itself by firing rockets at an enemy base. We also have the customization options in the game for optimizing or customizing your Icarus yourself, and that also has some implications about maybe adding some defense to your own little robot. The developers also shared that you will be able to kind of balance how the enemy reacts to you. So basically, the enemy will react based on your threat level. The more you expand and advance, the more aggressive the enemy will become, as it will consider you a larger threat. More waves and stronger waves of enemies will be sent at your base, and things will escalate from there. The developers also noted that this won't simply be an on or off setting, but that combat will be coming with various difficulties that will basically determine how fast the enemy will react to your progression. There will also be a peace setting, where the dark fog enemies are in the game, but they will only attack you if you provoke them yourself. So that basically means you will be left alone until you decide that you are ready to fight. And as pointed out before, if you want none of this, you'll have the option to completely turn off combat, and you will never ever see an enemy in your game at all. One thing that excites me, but also slightly worries me, is that based on the footage shown, the combat system can result in some wild fights across your entire system. My graphics card nearly started to melt just from thinking about the logistics involved in that, but it will also make me wonder if the dark fog will actually attack you across all your systems, or if it will simply follow Icarus around. Both of these could lead to some interesting challenges. So for example, if your bases are being attacked while you are elsewhere, that could be quite problematic. But at the same time, if the enemy is always chasing you around, then trying to expand to a new system could be a little frustrating. It's too early to tell, but I for one can't wait to try it out. Either way, I highly suggest you get a good grip on the game before you try out combat, and there is plenty of time to practice. If you haven't gotten a solid grip on, for example, proliferation or efficient building, take a look at my recent playthroughs that go into that step by step, and each of those comes with blueprints for every single build that I show. If you're still here, you're awesome. Once again, consider subscribing, and I will catch you in the next one.